How you doing, people? I am John, and I am back with a new season of The Goal Line. It is fantastic to be back. It's a new season of football. It's a new season of The Goal Line. How are you all doing? I hope you are doing fantastically well. We have had an absolute stonking of football already this weekend. Even Man United's win over Fulham 1-0 last night, very last minute, I will say as well. I've got my obviously trusty phone here with the BBC Sports app, and I'm here to tell you what has happened so far. We've still got obviously Sunday to go. Tonight is Saturday. So what I'll do is, while my phone isn't being an idiot, and we'll come up with the scores and the fixtures for what has happened today and what happened yesterday. It will load up in its own time. It's because these walls in this place are not very good. So yeah, Man United and Fulham was 1-0 last night. It's the 87th minute. There was also Championship last night. There's a Championship game. Coventry beating Oxford 3-2. It was Wright's 96th minute goal that made the actual difference. He actually scored twice. He scored in the 15th minute and the 96th minute. Brown and Harris scored for Oxford. But yeah, that is what happened last night. There was a couple of English FA Cup preliminary rounds. You had Golka United 0, Thackeray 1, and Hinckley 2, Malvern Town 5, for anyone who's interested in them. But let's go on to today. Big games today, being Saturday. So I'm just gonna go straight into the results. We had a 12:30 kickoff earlier. It was Ipswich and Liverpool, and it finished Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2. Then Arsenal 2, Wolves 0, Everton 0, Brighton 3, Newcastle 1, Southampton 0, and Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 1. There is a game that's going on now. It's West Ham and Aston Villa, and I can tell you that the score currently is West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1. Aston Villa scoring in the 4th minute of the game. There was some early kickoffs as well in the Championship, but there was Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, Portsmouth 0, Luton 0, and West Bromwich Albion 0, Leeds 0. Then there was afternoon kickoffs: Bristol City 4, Millwall 3, Burnley 5, Cardiff 0, Norwich 2, Blackburn 2, Plymouth 1, Hull 1, Sheffield United 2, QPR 2, Swansea 3, Preston 0, Watford 3, Stoke 0. Then there was another early kickoff. It finished Charlton Athletic 1, Leyton Orient 0, and Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 4. There were obviously then the others were Blackpool 0, Stockport 3, Cambridge 0, Crawley 1, Huddersfield 2, Stevenage 1, Lincoln 1, Barnsley 2, Mansfield Town 3, Burton Albion 3, Northampton 2, Exeter 1, Reading 2, Wigan 0, Rotherham 0, Bristol Rovers 0, and Wycombe 2, Birmingham 3. Then we go into the League 2, Bromley 2, Wimbledon 0, Carlisle 1, Barrow 0, Accrington 3, Harrogate 3, Bradford 0, Salford 0, Colchester 2, MK Dons 0, Crewe 0, Chesterfield newly promoted Chesterfield 5, Grimsby 3, Cheltenham 2, Morecambe 0, Gillingham 1, Newport 3, Doncaster 1, Port Vale 0, Tranmere 0, and Swindon 0, Walsall 4, putting Walsall at the top of League 2, replacing Bromley, who were there. There was no Scottish Premiership today, but I can go through the other Scottish ones for you. There was one game in the Scottish Championship. It was Ayr United 3, Hamilton 2. Then there was Scottish League 1, Alloa Athletic 1, Stanhousemuir 0, Arbroath 0, Kelty Hearts 3, Cove Rangers 1, Darbarton 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, Montrose 1, and Queen's Park 2, and an Athletic 0. Scottish League 2, Clyde 0, Stirling 2, East Fife 2, Forfar United 1, Edinburgh City 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 2, and Peterhead 1, Stranraer 0. Then we go into the National League. Boston United 0, Forest Green 4, Braintree 0, Yeovil 1, Eastleigh 4, Fly 2, Ebbsfleet 1, Barnet 2, Halifax 0, Aldershot Town 1, Hartlepool 0, Southend 0, Rochdale 1, Dagenham Redbridge 1, Solihull Moors 2, Maidenhead United 1, Sutton United 5, Altrincham 0, Wealdstone 0, Oldham 1, Woking 0, Gateshead 2, and York 2, Tamworth 0. If you want to know about National League North and South, I can do that. Alfreton 3, Kingsley 0, Buxton 2, Farsley 1, Chester 0, Brackley 1, Chorley 1, Hereford 1, Kidderminster 3, Radcliffe 0, Leamington 3, Spennymoor Town 1, Needham 1, Southport 2, Oxford 2, Darlington 2, Scarborough Athletic 3, Rosh Hall 0, Scunthorpe 3, Marine 0, South Shields 1, Curzon Ashton 2, and Warrington 1, Peterborough Sports 0. Going into the National League South for you now, Avery 2, Tunbridge 2, Bath 1, Welling United 0, Chelmsford 1, Hampton Richmond 1, Chesham United 1, Boreham Wood 2, Dorking 1, Chippenham Town 0, Enfield Town 1, Weston-super-Mare 0, Farnborough 1, Torquay 0, Hornchurch 0, Eastbourne Borough 1, Maidstone United 1, Truro 2, Salisbury 1, Slough 0, St Albans 2, Worthing 2, and Weymouth 0, Hempstead 2. There was a Scottish League Cup second round. Aberdeen 1, Queen's Park 0, Dundee 6, Aridonians 1, Falkirk 2, Hearts 0, Spartans 1, Ross County 0, and the game that just kicked off in the third minute is Rangers 0, St Johnstone 0. That is all the results for now. It is still West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1 in the 18th minute. Let's just quickly check tomorrow's games. 2 o'clock kickoff, Brentford versus Crystal Palace, and at 4:30 there's Chelsea versus Man City. There's also Championship tomorrow, midday. Sunderland will take on Sheffield Wednesday. There's also other EFL games. League 1, Bolton and Wrexham will kick off at 3 o'clock. And League 2, Notts County and Fleetwood will go 1-on-1 at 1 o'clock. And there's also Scottish League 2. There's Dundee United versus St Mirren at 2, Motherwell and Kilmarnock at 2, and Celtic will take on Hibernian at an hour later at 3 o'clock. There's also more FA Cup preliminary rounds. I won't go through them with you. It's all on the BBC website, as you can see if you go to the BBC app or bbc.co.uk/sport. There's also a BBC Sports app. You can scan QR code, scan that, that will take you to it. So that is all for tomorrow. Then there's one on Monday. There's back with the Premier League. Leicester, with their return to the Premier League, have got a tall order when they take on Tottenham Hotspur. There's also National League South. It's Averley versus Hempstead and Chelmsford versus Tunbridge. And then we go on to Tuesday. Sorry. Going to Tuesday, there is UEFA Champions League playoffs. There's UEFA conference as well. There's National League as well. And there's also, I wasn't too sure about this, there's English Football League trophies going up. There's Tranmere in there, Everton, Man United, Man City, Fulham, Crystal Palace, loads of them. If you go to the BBC website, you'll see it all. That's for Tuesday. And then Wednesday, there is more UEFA Champions League playoffs, conference as well. There's also Scottish action going on. And there's the Europas on Thursday. That's all. And the conference as well. That leads us through to Friday next week, when we'll be starting off with Championship football, which is Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds at 8 o'clock, and National League, which is Dagenham and Redbridge and Halifax, and that will start us off for a new week. Basically it's just saying on the actual headlines that there's wins for Burnley, Bristol City and Watford, and Chesterfield with their 5-0 win in League 2, and they were saying that Saka was on target as Arsenal claimed deserved win over Wolves. Obviously whoever's watched the game will have their own opinion, or not, whatever they think. But I mean, there's not much to report at the moment, guys. There's no point going through the tables because obviously there's 6 points here, 3 points here, 1.0. It's not really worth it at the moment. I'll just give you a quick update on the West Ham and Aston Villa. It's still in the 22nd minute. It's still West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1. So if you have got the BBC app, or you go on the website, you can keep up to date on that score for tonight, and of course for the rest of the weekend. Okay, guys, I want to thank you for joining me for the new season of The Goal Line. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. I would really appreciate it because we need lots of subs. I think 2 people have subbed, so welcome, thank you, welcome to The Goal Line. I hope you enjoy it every single week. And yeah, that is it for me for this week. I will see you next week, Saturday, as per usual, with more results and fixtures results and more headlines, hopefully. So until then, take care for now, guys. Ciao.